Why people consider the INFJ as a doormat. Have you ever heard someone refer to an INFJ as a doormat? While this label is far from accurate, it's a perception many people hold about this rare personality type. But why is that? Today, we're diving deep into the psychology behind why people might view INFJs as pushovers or doormats. Despite being one of the most empathetic and thoughtful of the 16 Myers-Briggs personality types, INFJs are often misunderstood. This video will explore the reasons behind this misconception and how INFJs can stand strong without losing their caring nature. If you're an INFJ or know someone who is, you'll gain insight into how this perception forms and learn strategies to overcome it. 1. INFJ empathy and deep desire to help others. The first and perhaps most prominent reason INFJs are seen as doormats is their deep sense of empathy and overwhelming desire to help others. As feelers in the Myers-Briggs framework, INFJs are naturally attuned to the emotions and needs of those around them. This deep connection makes them nurturing friends, partners, and co-workers, but it also means they are more likely to put others' needs ahead of their own. Over time, this tendency to prioritize the well-being of others can make INFJs seem overly accommodating or self-sacrificial. People may mistake the INFJ's selflessness for weakness. In reality, their empathy is a strength, but if unchecked, it can lead to feelings of being used or taken advantage of. INFJs need to understand that while helping others is important, their needs matter too. 2. People-pleasing tendencies. INFJs often struggle with people-pleasing. They are highly empathetic and conflict-averse, leading them to go to great lengths to maintain harmony in their relationships. Many INFJs believe that keeping others happy will prevent conflict, discomfort, or emotional tension. However, this desire to avoid confrontation can make them seem like they are easily taken advantage of or walked over. INFJs must realize that avoiding conflict by constantly pleasing others comes at a cost, often to their own emotional and mental health. Setting boundaries is critical for maintaining self-respect while still being compassionate. 3. Difficulty saying no. INFJs, as natural helpers, often find it challenging to say no to requests for assistance, whether at work or in their personal lives. Their internal drive to support others can lead them to take on more than they can handle, spreading themselves thin in the process. This inability to set limits may cause others to view them as pushovers, always willing to say yes, even when they are overwhelmed. Learning to say no without guilt is essential for INFJs. Boundaries are not only healthy but necessary to prevent burnout. When INFJs start to assert their limits, others will begin to respect their time and energy. 4. INFJ tendency to avoid conflict. INFJs are known for being conflict-averse. They hate discord and will go out of their way to smooth over disagreements. Often, INFJs will choose silence over confrontation, preferring to keep the peace rather than assert their own needs or challenge others. This silence can be misinterpreted as passivity or weakness, especially in environments where more assertive personalities thrive. Avoiding conflict may seem like the easiest path, but over time, it can erode an INFJ's sense of self and lead to feelings of resentment. Conflict doesn't always have to be negative, it can lead to growth and better understanding if handled constructively. 5. Adapting to others. INFJs are adept at reading emotions and intuiting what others need or expect from them. This ability often leads them to adjust their behavior, sometimes to the point where they sacrifice their true selves. This chameleon effect can make them appear accommodating to a fault, always shifting to fit others' expectations rather than standing firm in their own identity. INFJs need to recognize the importance of authenticity in their relationships. While adaptability can be useful, constantly molding oneself to fit others' expectations can lead to a loss of self-identity and reinforce the doormat perception. 6. Fear of disappointing others. Another driving force behind why INFJs may seem like doormats is their fear of disappointing others. They don't want to let anyone down, so they take on responsibilities or agree to things they might not want to do. Their need to maintain positive relationships and be seen as reliable can cause them to overlook their own desires, leading to a buildup of emotional exhaustion. INFJs must come to terms with the fact that they can't please everyone. Trying to meet everyone's expectations is a recipe for burnout. Saying no occasionally doesn't mean they're letting others down, it means they're being true to themselves. 7. The INFJ's inner world, a double-edged sword. INFJs live in a rich inner world filled with deep thoughts and emotions. They process everything on a profound level, which can sometimes make them more introspective than assertive in social situations. Their tendency to retreat into their own minds rather than assert themselves outwardly can give the impression that they are passive or easily controlled. While introspection is a strength, INFJs need to balance their inner reflection with outward assertiveness. Speaking up and being vocal about their thoughts, needs, and boundaries will help them avoid the doormat stereotype. 8. Overextending themselves in relationships. In relationships, INFJs often give far more than they receive. Their tendency to overextend themselves emotionally and mentally can lead others to assume they will always be there, no matter what. This can create unbalanced dynamics where the INFJ is expected to continually give without receiving in return. To avoid being viewed as a doormat, INFJs must foster reciprocity in their relationships. Learning to communicate their needs and ensuring they receive emotional support in return is vital for creating balanced, healthy connections. Being empathetic, caring, and conflict-averse doesn't make INFJs doormats, but these traits can be misinterpreted when boundaries aren't in place. It's important for INFJs to reclaim their personal power by setting limits, asserting their needs, and balancing their desire to help others with self-care. By doing so, they can continue to be the compassionate individuals they are without being taken advantage of. If you're an INFJ, have you ever been called a doormat? How did you navigate this perception? Share your experiences in the comments below.